Hey, what's up, Tackle Warehouse fans? Welcome back to this week's episode of What's New at TW. My name's Rich. I'm going to take you through some awesome products that we have this week. Coming off of ICAST here in the late summer. If you haven't seen some of the coverage already, go check it out on the website. We got some awesome baits here that are now in stock, available for you to purchase, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so first up from West Coast Baits, this is the new Roma Trout, and the cool thing about this bait is the adaptability of it. So the beauty really lies in the ability to customize this thing how you see fit to fish it in your water. So you can butch brown rig this thing, rig it with a keel weighted owner beast hook, or you can convert this thing to a line through. There's a really good video on the website about all the different ways you can rig this thing. Go ahead and check them out. This is the 9-inch version. I would recommend rigging this with a 12-aught owner beast hook, and this is the 6.5-inch, and you're gonna want a 10-aught hook for this guy. Also, a really cool call out on this thing is just the iridescence of this kind of rainbow trout color. It's got this watermelon main body to it, but it has a really cool kind of red rainbow glimmer to it. That's really going to produce a lot of reflection in the water as you creep it along the surface. So if you have trout in your lake around this size, this is going to be a great thing to throw up shallow around cover. And again, kind of a more advanced swim bait, hence the adaptability aspects of it, but really cool bait from West Coast Baits to check out, and that's the Roma Trouts. Alrighty, up next from Teckel. So this is the Teckel Maxqueaker, and when you're looking for a buzz bait, you're looking for a few things. You're looking for noise and you're looking for action. So the Maxqueaker is really going to produce both of those things. I guess starting with the back of the hook, you have a nice stout black nickel hook, really robust, and then moving up, you have a nice wire integrated keeper that's going to lock your plastic into place. Really nice custom skirt. This is the bluegill color here. You can notice it's a trimmed skirt, so it's going to add a little bit more action when you add your plastic on there. And then the head of this bait is where you really start seeing the innovations come out that Teckel incorporated into this thing. So the flat head on this bait is going to ride really nice, almost like a planer board on the top of the water. It's not going to want to sink. It's going to stay up at the surface and really let you slow down that retrieve and fish it at slow speeds around lily pads, docks, you name it, and really draw those fish out from cover. And you'll notice at the front of the head, you have this kind of this brass ball that's molded into the head. And what that's going to do is when that blade's spinning on the surface, as you bump it along cover, every now and then that blade's going to knock that ball and create an additional kind of ping that's going to call in fish in the water. And then going into the blade, this thing is a really unique design. It actually has a riveted, it has one rivet in here, and it allows you to, it has a grooved wire that allows you to swap the blade on it. So if you don't like the blade that it comes with and you want to try swapping out some of your own, maybe get a bigger blade so you can hit that ball more, you can go ahead, take these little pieces off, put your new blade on, and you're fishing. So that's the Teckel Maxqueaker, really cool, innovative buzz bait. Definitely a great bait to try later this summer when those fish are up shallow, under shade. Maybe throw it around the early morning. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. So another really cool topwater that is kind of a great bait that you can use here in the late summer months is the Lunkerhunt Furenzy mouse. And it's Furenzy mouse, but you'd probably pronounce it Frenzy mouse. And the reason they call it the Furenzy mouse is it has this realistic fur on it. It feels like a normal, like a realistic mouse would. And they did that for a few reasons. The primary reason is this material is actually going to absorb water and hold water, and it's going to increase the weight of this lure in addition to the water that gets trapped inside of it. So as you're fishing a silicone frog, you have the water inside of it, lets you make a long cast. This bait here is going to allow you to absorb water just from the material of it, and it's going to add even more weight and get you really, really long casts into those strike zones. Super realistic mouse. Another cool thing about this bait is when a fish bites this, it's going to feel that fur. They're probably more accustomed to feeling silicone, so it's going to allow you to maybe hook fish that you normally wouldn't. Maybe those bigger, wiser fish that have struck frogs before and been caught on frogs, they might not let go of this thing because you have that realistic fur material. So that's the Lunkerhunt Frenzy mouse. Really cool little bait that you could skip up around docks, anywhere there might be mice running around, any prairies that might meet your local bodies of water. Would highly recommend giving that a go at any of your mouse fisheries. So go ahead and check out this topwater as well. All right, so getting into some more terminal tackle here. So this is a new Jungle Wacky hook from Owner, and the beauty of this thing is it has a much wider gap than traditional Wacky rigged hooks. So a lot of the times you fish those 7, even 8-inch Cincos or stick baits, and you have a normal hook, and you're kind of you're walking a fine line there of if you're going to actually hook that fish or not, because of how small the gap in that hook is compared to how thick that plastic is that you're fishing. So this larger Jungle Wacky hook is going to have a more exposed hook point. So when a fish does bite it, you're going to have a higher hookup ratio. Obviously, really silky smooth Owner coating on it, and it's just gonna have a stellar hookup ratio like all Owner products. So that's their new Jungle Wacky hook from Owner. All right, up next from Buckeye Lures. So these are a couple ICAST releases that we now have in stock, available for you to check out. I'll go ahead and start out with this little guy here. This is the Freestyle head by Buckeye Lures. So another cool, really adaptable bait, kind of to let you fine tune your presentation to however you see fit. I guess the first thing to call out about this is the multiple different hook points and line ties on this thing. There's one place you could tie your line and 2 places you could attach your hooks. So if you're fishing over suspended cover, maybe fish that treble hook on top of your paddle tail or your fluke tail, and you're going to attach it by this screw lock hook here. So you're going to have that really nice kind of free swinging design there with your favorite soft paddle tail, fluke baits, you name it. Any 2.5 to probably 4-inch bait would pair really well with this. Anytime fish are suspended and there's not as much cover, you could move that top treble hook to the bottom and then stick that bottom treble hook up in the belly of your bait if you want it to swim kind of more upright in the water column. So that's the Buckeye Lures Freestyle head. Really cool customizable jig head that is great for pairing with small paddle tails and flukes. So go ahead and check that out. Alrighty, so now moving into some more of the soft plastics that we have this week. You guys are all familiar with the missile-based D-bomb. Now we got the micro D-bomb. For you guys that also like downsizing your flipping baits, this is your ticket right here for getting those big bites late this summer. Whether you're pairing this on your little jig trailer or you're just fishing it alone, this thing is an amazing little creature bait here. Obviously you have the missile bait kind of salt-infused scent in it, and you have those 2 appendages that the D-bomb, kind of made its mark on. And yeah, it's just a really nice creature bait. Flip it around cover, peg a little 1/4 ounce or an 1/8 ounce tungsten on there, and you're gonna just be catching fish left and right with this thing. I will tell you that. So that's the Missile Baits Micro D-bomb. Go ahead and check them out and get yourself some to pull out those hogs later this summer. Alrighty, up from Big Bite Baits next, we got the Big Bite Baits Neko worm. So this is a really nice, just long, kind of thin Neko worm here. Also would pair great with a shaky head. I think 2 things to call out about this is you have that really nice salt-infused plastic material, and that Big Bite Baits scent formulation. They call it their bite juice. So fish are going to grab it, they're going to hold on, and then obviously the profile of this thing is just going to move a ton in the water. Neko rig specifically, you actually have a little middle section there that you'll be able to put your O-rings on and tuck your hook up into really nicely. It's not going to slide up and down your hook shank like other worms, and that thin tail with kind of that pronounced section is just going to dance and writhe its way in front of those fish in your lakes and going to get absolutely crushed. Available in all the proven colors. This is the Big Bite Baits Neko worm. Go ahead and check it out. Alrighty, last but not least, from Northland Tackle. So these are a couple new leech baits in their eye candy series. So this one right here is the Jiggn leech, and it's different than the Riggn leech, but they're very similar. So really cool thing about the eye candy series, you have that super elastic TPE material, really durable, really stretchy, also very soft. So when fish bite, they're not gonna let go. And this is, so like I said, this is the Jiggn leech, and this one is more designed with this kind of a thicker main body section to be paired with a little ball jig head, and you're going to want to jig this thing vertical. That's what it was designed to do, is pair it with a small ball jig head or a small jig head and kind of jig it. It'd be a great video game fishing bait if you're targeting those smallies up north. Any fishery where leeches or minnows or stuff of this, like this profile stuff is going to come into play. It's going to be absolutely deadly. You can see just how many little appendages are going down that tail. I'm holding it as still as I can, and it's still moving. You can only imagine what this thing's going to do in the water. So this is the Jiggn leech, and now check out the Riggn leech here. So this is, again, from Northland Tackle in their eye candy series. This is the 4 1/4 inch Riggn leech, and You'll notice this one kind of has that similar appendage structure, but it has a much smaller main plastic section up at the head. And this one is more designed to be fished on your drop shot. So guys who like the cast and retrieve method, I mean, both obviously get bit, but the cast and retrieve drop shot, historical fish catcher, and this bait here, I mean, you can just see all the ways it's gonna just dance and kind of wiggle in the water, presenting a leech or a small worm, a small crustacean of some sorts, who knows. Fish are gonna see this, they're not gonna know anything else to do but just suck it down. Would definitely recommend checking out these super elastic eye candy baits from Northland. So this one's the Riggn leech, and then we got the Jiggn leech here. Thanks for watching this week's episode of What's New at TW. To purchase any of these products, go ahead and head over to tacklewarehouse.com. Let us know which one of your baits was your favorite in the comments, and we'll catch you next time.